Mr.
I'd love to, Joel. So we start with giants in Genesis 6:4, where we're told that the sons of God came into the daughters of men. At that time, the Nephilim were on the earth. At that time, and any time after, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men. And the supernatural view, which is the historically orthodox view, is that the sons of God is referring to fallen angels, and the daughters of men are just the daughters of men, the human beings that are women. And they create this offspring that's a hybrid of the two, a partially divine and partially human earthbound offspring called the Nephilim. And what's interesting is when the Greeks were doing their translation into the Septuagint of the Old Testament, they, without question, every time the Nephilim Hebrew word came up, which is Gabor, they translated it into the Greek as giants, as gigas. And then we see that popping up later through the Old Testament as well, in Numbers multiple times and in Deuteronomy, referring to other Canaanite clans that Israel had to go in and dispossess and destroy. And multiple times it refers to them, for example, like the Anakim, as the direct descendants of the Nephilim. And they were giants. And when the spies go in to spy out the land of Canaan that they're going to go in and take, they come back and say, well, we're really scared because there's giants there, Nephilim there, and we look like grasshoppers compared to them. So that's a really quick overview of how we get there.
And I've heard people object and say, well, are you going to believe these liver, yellow belly, cowardly Israelite spies about how big these people were? They were just exaggerating. But the crazy thing is that as the narrative develops through the Old Testament, first of all, in that context, nobody disputes that they were giants.
Not even the guy who wasn't afraid.
That's not the point. But then later we see that the people of God are always fighting giants. Og, Goliath and his brothers. I mean, the existence of giants in the Old Testament is just kind of almost casually like, oh yeah, and then there were some giants that they had to fight, and it was pretty metal, but then God, cut their heads off, and now there's no more of them. Like, it just acts like that's a norm. To me, how casually it references it demonstrates how widespread this knowledge was in the ancient world. But, oh yeah, there were giants, like all over the place.
Yep, I completely agree. Giants in the days of Noah, so some time periods real quick in the days of Noah. But also, it seems like Abraham was fighting giants, and potentially he even had a couple giants who teamed up with him. Not that they were like holy necessarily, but more neutral. So Abraham's got giants. So there's Noah time period giants, there's Abraham time period. Of course, there's Moses, and then Joshua, and then David. And it seems like David's kind of rounding up some of the last of them, but it seems as though maybe some might have continued. So those are the kind of things we want to talk about giants. Real quick though, with the Nephilim, the key word in my assessment, me and Ben were talking about this offline, the word whenever. So there's, it says that the Nephilim were there on the earth before the flood and after. And some translate it, but the better translation from my study, the Hebrew word is, it's not when the sons of God saw, took the daughters of men, but it's actually whenever. So I think that explains like how do we get giants, Nephilim, and then giants from the Nephilim after the flood? Because it seems as though this is something that these fallen angels did multiple times. That they took the daughters of men before the flood, and then it happened again after the flood. So we're not saying that giants are surviving necessarily, Nephilim on rafts. The reason why I want to hold that position is because I like to think that God flooded the earth for a reason, and it wasn't in vain. That God was successful, but that this happened again, and that kind of blows out of the water the speculation that giants would be smaller, because if it's actually the sons of God a second time, so you're starting first generation Nephilim again, then the giants that Abraham, post flood after Noah, that Abraham's facing, Joshua, Moses, these may not be 10th generation giants that are maybe a little smaller in stature. That could be the case with David, but it seems like when Amos says that the Amorites were as tall as cedar trees, that could be true. What do you guys think about that?
Definitely agree.
Yeah.
There's some legends in pagan history of their equivalent of Og, this king of Bashan that Moses goes in and defeats. Their equivalent, and they say that Og held on to the back of the ark and was able to basically hold on and tread water and survive the flood. And I don't think that you need that.
No.
Because of the wording of Genesis 6:4, where it clearly seems to indicate at least the possibility that the same watcher and human cohabitation event,
Hostiles detected.
the fornication events of place
Heads
multiple
up,
times
Agent. Cleaners on
after
site.
the flood.
Take
And
out
then
those
after the
hostiles
flood,
and
they just
secure the
began,
garden.
just the world taking more distinct claims.
How the hell did they
themselves,
transport
like
that thing? Agent, the cleaners have a napalm mortar. I think I know why we lost contact with Barker.
See, close to Mount
If you want to secure the garden, you're gonna need to take out that turret.
This activity was centered around this Nephilitic activity.
Heads up, Agent. These cleaners must have developed a new They're not wearing their regular gear, so if you were planning on blowing their tank, you're gonna need to find a new way to handle this threat.
Speculation that that may have been an excarnation chamber for Og and his body, a place where they would put his body in all ossuary. You can see how these places might become places of worship over time, where people will venerate these, spiritual beings or these great beings, these mighty men, as it is. And you can see how all these legends and ancient worship might play around these different real personalities of real spiritual connection.
Great work, Agent. You took out this turret.
You see
We need to clear the area to reach the gate.
over and over in folklore, as well as even we believe in scripture with eating people.
Yeah.
They're people eaters. They're devouring men. And just the ubiquity of these folkloric accounts across time and culture, I think really demonstrates, not some sort of just collective unconscious that people are, inventing the same mythology over and over, but that these are actually rooted in actual historic events that took place, even with characters in the Bible like Nimrod,
Yeah.
for example.
Damn it. There's no way into this gate from here.
Let's talk about Nimrod.
Try the courtyard. There should be a gate.
Joel, I would love to
Oh,
go.
we would love to talk. I mean, bro.
Looks like the cleaners have been through here, but they didn't sanitize the place.
Yeah,
This
Nimrod's
isn't
really
their style.
fascinating because we don't get a
Something's
lot of
off.
information in scripture about him, except for his name and the fact that he is a mighty hunter before the Lord, and also the fact that he founded cities like
You need to secure the
like
estate if
Babylon
we have any
and
hope of
Nineveh.
locating those
And so the
civilians.
idea is that Nimrod was kind of the head honcho of the Tower of Babel project build. And what's interesting is when you really get into the subtitle, Mighty Hunter Before the Lord, what you learn is that in the original Hebrew text, it's clearly meant to indicate that he was a tyrannical opponent of God.
Yeah.
So when it says mighty hunter before God, it means that he was a hunter of men that God was disgusted with. And part of how we get that understanding is that Nimrod's name actually means the rebel, or to rebel, or the rebellious one. And then also in other Near Eastern histories, we get clear parallels with Nimrod, like in the character of Ninurta, even Marduk, Osiris in Egypt, even Hercules in Greece, where both of these men that all biblical scholars, secular and Christian, agree are probably based on the same person, went through mighty acts of valor in order to win favor among the gods and among men. And even stuff like the flood narrative, where Ninurta is fighting against the God who sent the flood in the hopes of saving the people that he's leading. Twisting scripture into saying that the God who sent the flood is actually the bad guy. And Ninurta, or Nimrod, is actually the one who's good, trying to save everyone. So it's just really striking to me how you get these clear connections with even older myths. And it really makes you pause and question, are all these myths...
Is that a dragon? What the hell were they planning here? Be careful,
and if
Agent.
so, how far does that truth go?
Even that overtone that you hear there about the recasting of these stories.
Check out the
in
truck.
pagan
Make sure it's not
mythology,
rigged to blow or
where
something.
the
We can figure out what
villains
to
of
do with it later.
Scripture are recast as heroic figures is unsurprising, and that the God of the Old Testament is evil. This is, again, just warmed over Gnosticism, that the God of the Old Testament is a lesser deity who created the physical world, and that to be truly enlightened is to escape his worship and worship the true deity that's above him. And there's a lot of these rhymes that you see across ancient mythology and ancient pagan cultic ideas, where they end up essentially inverting the story of scripture in a way where the serpents become the hero instead of the serpent crusher. And yet what we see in Scripture with the giants particularly is that they're a rich foreground or a soil where many
It's a trap.
pictures of
Cleaners
Christ
incoming. Be careful. They're headed for the truck. That thing is basically a bomb.
When Goliath comes out and taunts the Israelites, he's clothed in scales, it's told. He's clothed in like a coat of mail. It's like the Hebrew word kwaskasim, something like that. And it's used to describe dragon or fish scales. So here's this serpent-like giant figure who comes out. David calls him a dog, which is to say that you're an uncircumcised, you're outside of the covenant people. And then what does David do? He crushes his head with a stone, and then he cuts off his head with his own weapon. This is exactly what Christ, the true shepherd king, does to the greater giant of the serpent and of death itself. He disarms them, he puts them to open shame, and even through his own weapon of death, Christ cuts the head off of, he crushes the head of the serpent. So all of this giant stuff is actually not just some peripheral little oddity. It actually runs right through the center, in many ways, of the redemptive typological story of the Old Testament. So that's why I do think it's important that we don't just go, oh, that's kind of an oddity, but we really pay attention.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Giants are everywhere. And we've been preaching through the book of Joshua. We actually just finished with my church, Covenant Bible Church, and Joshua being a type of Christ. After the death of Moses, who was also a type of Christ. So it's like you have a Christ type who dies, and then there's this 3-day period, and he says, in 3 days' time, you will cross over the Jordan River. The river signifies symbol of death. And so Israel led by the second Christ type. So it's like Christ dies in 3 days' time, they cross the Jordan. Now under Joshua, type of Christ, so this resurrection, but they're resurrected not unto rest, but they're resurrected unto war. And you think of the church militant. We've died with Christ, and yes, we've risen again with Christ, but we've been resurrected in this life, the church here on earth, not to rest, that comes later, but we've been resurrected, given resurrected life for the purpose of war. And then under Joshua, Yeshua, this deliverer, a type of Christ, primarily what he's doing is he's cutting off the heads of snakes. He's going to, he even takes his men of war, his chiefs of war, and there's 5 particular kings that unite against Joshua, and he battles still raging, he wants to, kill them properly, the death that they deserve, mockery of them, an example of them. And so, they're taken captive and they're put into a tomb, just like Christ.
Rogue striker drone detected.
A mountain, and they cover it with a stone.
Hostile striker drone detected.
In the tomb. And then they go and run down all the rest of the men, the fighting men of war, under these 5 kings, and they neutralize the threat. Then they come back, they move the stones, and they take these kings out alive and lay them on their backs. And Joshua has his chiefs of war put their feet on their necks. A sign of God's superiority, his supremacy over all the false gods of the pagans, but also as a promise to the people of Israel that they would take heart and be encouraged that God would continue to do. So Joshua is snuffing out all the kings, but even when Joshua says, I am going to live the way of all the earth, he's going to die, the allotments of land as inheritances to each of the various tribes of Israel, not all the enemies are gone, but there's the significant threat has been neutralized. The kings have been cut off, but there's still inhabitants in each of these various.
The truck is taking a lot of damage. We need to take out those cleaners attacking the truck before it blows.
To finish the job, and I think of that in the big picture of Christ and his life, his death and resurrection, that he has neutralized the lethal portion of the threat. That the lethal weapon that Satan possessed has now been stripped from him. That he has crushed the head of the serpent. But that doesn't mean that there's not any more battle left to do. The church is going to go and run them down. It's the strong man, right? If you're going to plunder the house, first bind the strong man, and that's what Christ has done. But the house still needs plundering, and there are various enemies along the way. But the big enemy has been taken out, and that's I feel like that's what you see with Abraham, you see it with Moses, with Joshua, and David, who also is a type of Christ. You see, they're all giant kings, and then Jesus comes and slays, the true ultimate giant, and then we, true Israel, the church, are going to run down. We've inherited the unique and inherit the earth. But we have to have this mindset of we're still at war. It's not time to rest yet.
Great work, Agent. You should be clear to approach the front gate. Hopefully you can access the estate from there.
It's not just fun to talk about, it'll preach.
Right.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Finally, a coffee company that doesn't hate you and your beliefs. Today's sponsor. For Christendom 2.0. The cities which would be post-flood. So what were you saying there? Can you clarify that?
What was the pre-flood thing that I said?
Maybe I just got confused. So Nimrod was after the flood. I'm just clarifying. Okay. And Mighty Man of Renown, was he, are we saying that he was first generation Nephilim, that like he is half fallen angel? Or are we saying that he's one of the giants down the line?
Hostile detected.
Damn it, we missed one. Hostile headed for the truck. Stop that cleaner.
His genealogy is spelled out.
Sorry about that. You should be clear now.
It says that
Head through the
Cush
gate.
fathered Nimrod. It's this really interesting thing. It says Cush fathered Nimrod, who was a mighty hunter before the Lord. And then when it goes into Cush's generations, Nimrod is not mentioned at all. And so it does make me wonder if there was some kind of bastardization that was attributed to Nimrod. Because perhaps Cush offered up his wife. This is like completely speculative, by the way. We have no way of knowing if this is true. But it would just be one way to try to harmonize these two data points that seem to be at least a little bit finicky. Or maybe Cush offered up his wife to one of the
Division
fallen
agents?
angels,
Can you
as
hear
an
me?
offering.
This is Mackenzie Merritt. Cleaners and plastic facilities. Heavy losses. I've moved the remaining survivors to a safe zone. I don't know how much longer we can hold out here. There's a secret entrance in the library. I can track you on the security cameras and guide you out.
I don't think I really give that much credit, but and that was how the Nephilim were produced, with possessed men who were inhabited by fallen angels with normal women.
Hey, it's back again. You found the library. That's great. To the left of the paving above the fireplace, there should be a book on the third shelf. Pull on the book to open the secret entrance.
Or at the very least, a later generation giant. If the story is to be believed, which of course it is to be believed.
You need to
And then
hurry
if you
and
also
find those
take that and
civvies before the
harmonize it with
cleaners
other
do.
myths that are clearly alluding to the same character. Even with Ninurta being the god of the hunt in Mesopotamia. I mean, it's quite literally the same, supposed to be the same guy. Then you have to realize that he was thought by every ancient person to be a
Sorry
giant
if I startled you,
demigod,
Agent.
essentially.
That was
He
me.
able to even
I
build
think
a
someone is
mountain
trying to break into the vault.
In the Mesopotamian myth, as a sort of insult to the god who sent the flood. And that, of course, reminds us of the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, Ethan, we go into quite a bit of detail surrounding Hercules and Ninurta and Nimrod in an upcoming episode of Haunted Cosmos.
Which episode?
Episode 6 of season 2 is going to be devoted to we just recorded it actually, the giant lore of the Bible, essentially, the giant history of the scriptures. And then the 7th episode of that season, we'll be branching out into really far-flung giant folklore and mythology proper that goes out across the world, even into the modern day, in that 7th episode. So even in that, we don't have our notes in front of us here, but if you compare Hercules and Ninurta and the 11 tasks and 12 tasks, you find so much overlap with this time period and the hunting, trope, that there's at least a compelling, like, wow, what if they're actually talking about Nimrod?
Agent, watch out. That's the cleaner that killed our security team. She's using some special fuel. The flames had a weird color and dissipated everything in their path.
Everyone
Please,
was able
be
to
careful,
speak the
Agent.
same language and understand each other.
You need to neutralize that cleaner. That room could go up in minutes. If the fire doesn't kill you, the lack of oxygen will.
He becomes a hero instead of an anti-hero. Yeah. It all makes perfect sense when you think about how humans work with stories.
You think of Hercules and it's like, okay, his father is a god, and in the case of Hercules, both his father and mother, but the point is that, like, he's a demigod. He's kind of like half man, half god. He's flesh and blood. He actually is mortal.
An agent needs assistance.
He has this divine, godlike, angelic strength. And it's like, well, I mean, there's so many stories like that with so many cultures geographically
Always take 'em to the
spread
back.
way out and very, very old, that it makes you think maybe it's not just a coincidence. I think part of the problem is that, you know, we think of the ancients we were all stupid. We just think they were all stupid and that we're so smart.
Yeah,
But these are people who are keeping records. Sure, like I'm sure they had some concept of entertainment like we do today. But even when you look at things like Beowulf, that were, you know, that was you know, perhaps meant to be entertaining, meant to be fictional. It doesn't have the detail. But when you look at other pieces of literature, this seems like they're trying to account for history and not just a made-up story. And so all that makes perfect sense to me. Do you guys know anything about Arba? He's the father of...
Be careful. I think that cleaner's up to something. The speakeasy has some pipes that run through that antique distillery.
Y'all go to the
Still
left,
full of
I'll go to the
alcohol.
right.
That cleaner just found another
Briefly
accelerant.
some stuff about Arba, but I couldn't remember it. And then I got too enthralled with the Anax stuff.
Yeah, with Anakim and Nephilim and
Right. So, okay, well, let's... I'll talk about Arba in a second, but real quick, you guys have named several tribes. Can you do your best? It doesn't have to be exhaustive, but all these different tribes that have giants are... one question is, are they all giants? Or these are tribes that giants are among? And how many of these tribes are there? I kind of want to see if we can get into classifications of giants and even discuss from the scripture as much as we can, but then maybe a little bit of speculation about sizes of these giants and even skills. Like Nimrod was, you know, a hunter. So talking about classifications, sizes of giants, and then various skills, or even, I don't know, supernatural.
I like the idea that the giant clans, because of their association with false worship, had a hobby of collecting people.
Well, I guess you've
They
pissed him
like
off.
to
And now
collect
he's more
human
deadly and
followers,
furious.
like full normal people followers, as their basically like their servants and their worshipers, and tried to establish, you know, this common story we see through history that the king or the ruler is somehow the son of the gods, or he's semi-divine. He's, you know, like Pharaoh. The sun god was my third cousin twice. And so I like the idea, or I think it's coherent with history and scripture, that some of these giant clans probably had huge the clans and the tribes, that they were interbreeding even, but that they also demanded worship of them. So you see like the Zuzim, the Rephaim, the Anakim, the Emim. Zuzim means tall ones, something like something. A lot of the giant kind of association is even
The bar's not up.
Right.
yeah, like
Even I think
big people.
I think like
to the pool.
Girgashite is another one. Hivite.
Hurry up. They
The Gathites, of course, the sons of Gath.
Like, you don't...
And then of course the Canaanites and the Philistines. We know that the Philistines had giants as well.
Even in terms of size classification, there is a kind of thread that I find that I don't think is that plausible. I think it's more exaggeration. And that's, I believe, in the Enoch tradition.
Without his
In
armor
the
and
book of
everything,
Enoch, I
he's
think
just a
there
man.
are
A man
Oh my
who's
God.
of giants that are
still a
hundreds of
man.
feet tall.
Now's your chance.
And I don't know that I
Net
necessarily...
agent, need assistance.
I looked into Enoch. It depends on, I
that's
forget
it.
the name of the measurement.
You're
You
clear.
might know, but he
Find the
says
vault and get the survivors
thousands
out of there.
Blank, whatever this unit is.
Right.
That it depends on like what is that? Is that, you know, is it equivalent to a centimeter? Then maybe, but if not, then, you know, depending how you interpret the actual, you know, like the Bible will say a cubit, and a cubit is about, you know, 1.5 feet, 18 inches. But Enoch uses, I can't remember the word, but a particular term that's a unit of measurement that apparently, I mean, you would have to assume it would be small, but you would have to assume it would be really small, like a centimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get giants that are like 90 feet tall. If it's a foot.
Thank you
you're
for
talking
saving us,
like
Agent. I think the vault door was damaged in the attack. The ventilation system is still working, so we're okay to sit tight until you're ready to defend
This
some
is a
helpless
classic
civilians.
YouTube or,
You're probably gonna
meme
need the Jaws
kind
of
of
Life or some explosives to
ancient
open the door.
history as
Although not sure
spooky and
explosives down here would be the
supernatural
best idea.
where it's like the
Thank
plot
you, again, and good luck with the lovebirds.
And there's no forest.
Lovebirds.
All the mountains were forests.
They were 100-foot tall. There were 1,000-foot tall.
You're lucky this
giants,
whole
and
thing didn't
they
collapse
chopped
when the
down these
cleaners breached the
plateau
bar.
trees and look
Wonder
at
what
all
the
that.
Merits originally used
I
this
think
for.
a lot of that is just, mythology. People being speculative and trying to get clicks.
You know what though?
The cleaners are trying to breach the tunnel.
There is an
Agent,
important
get out of
scriptural
there.
example of a unit of measure changing dramatically.
That changes the story.
Yeah, it completely changes the story. So, and it's Goliath. It says, and I believe the ESV uses the Septuagint, where it says that he was 4 cubits and a hand and a span, or span.
Oh, where can
Like
he be?
6'9".
Yeah, which would be 6'9". No, the Alexandria. And Alexandria used a different unit of
Established
measure.
the estate for the tunnels and the
They used an
lawn.
Egyptian cubit as opposed to a Hebrew cubit, which was longer.
There should be a gate nearby that
So it
leads
was
out to the
actually,
lawn.
if you go by the Hebrew cubit, Goliath would have been 9 feet,
More
9 inches.
like
Sounds
10.
right.
Because the oldest Hebrew text that we have corresponding to that passage in the Old Testament, which is later than the Septuagint, by the way, says that he was 6 cubits and a span,
I see.
which would be 9 feet 9 inches. So the idea is that the Hebrew scholar who was putting it back into Hebrew is noticing the fact that the Alexandrians used a different measure for cubit.
Yeah.
And so he, to try to be consistent, to do the right thing, is putting it
Hostile
back into the
radio
Hebrew
intercepted.
measure so that his audience will understand what the Egyptians wanted to convey.
And this is important because if you take the 6'9" height, it's difficult to see what was so scary about Goliath, given that King Saul was likely 6'6" or so.
He was 6.5 feet
He
tall.
was like a head taller than everybody in that day. So Goliath that's 6'6". I mean, what are we talking about? I've known people taller than that. So,
And I don't think that they could fight effectively with a spear that weighed 50 pounds,
Right.
and with armor that weighed 160 pounds.
Oh shit.
diameter.
Those lovebirds.
Right.
If the lovebirds organize this invasion, you need to be prepared for anything. Rumor is they have access to Shade Tech. Not sure if Conley made them honorary agents to work with the unnecessary Godmother, but it's starting to make sense why our first team was overrun so quickly.
On it now.
Giants are guys who are 4, 5, 6 inches taller than we are. Because, I mean, there's an argument to be made that at this time, people in general were a little bit shorter than the average.
Defender drone detected.
Whatever it is, 5'9", 5'10".
Hostile defender drone
6 feet.
detected.
It's like 5'6", 5'7".
Vital signs critical.
Okay, so, the average guy in
Agent down.
Israel is like 5'7". And, if somebody's 6 feet tall, okay, but that can maybe account for part of that. But then the reason why Deuteronomy 1:28, it made our hearts melt, saying people are bigger and taller than me. Because if all the people are only 5 inches taller than all of them, that is still intimidating because it's like, pound for pound, man for man.
Immediate
these
medical
guys are
assistance
taller
needed.
than us. But that's not the only thing that says. The people are bigger and taller than we. The cities are large and fortified to heaven. And besides all this, we saw the sons of the Anakim. And that's what actually
An agent needs
terrifies them. And
assistance.
that's where you get the language of the Anakim.
Serious
is-
trauma
that's where you get
detected.
the language of, like, we were like grasshoppers.
Agent down.
And they said we saw ourselves. We viewed ourselves as though we were grasshoppers to them. But we were so also in their sight. They saw us as grasshoppers. So it's not just us being cowardly, and it's like, we know that the 10 spies, by the 12 minus Joshua and Caleb, they brought a bad report, but the Bible doesn't say, as mentioned earlier, that they brought a deceitful report. They brought a bad report. If I go to the doctor and he says, you've got cancer, and it's true, that's a bad report. But that doesn't mean you're lying. I may not like it, but, so they give a bad report. But there's nothing in the biblical text that requires us to interpret that as though it's deceitful. And it's not just that bigger and taller, like let's say on average they're 5 or 6 inches taller, but even beyond that, there are giants among them. And the Anakim, as you look into them, is like, coming from, that's where Goliath came from Gath, goes all the way back to Anak. And Anak, the reason that I was doing that with Arda, his father says the most renowned among the Anakim wasn't actually Anak, but his father, who was Arda. And it makes me think the language seems similar. It says he was the about, a man of renown. And it seems as though some of these guys, not that a giant, 6 generations down couldn't be, famous for such and such or exceedingly rich, but it does seem like that the original first generation Nephilim that would come from a watcher, fallen angel, and one of the daughters of Cain, or later on, post-flood, I think it would be a watcher, fallen angel, and then the daughter of Cain, perhaps. But those first generation Nephilim, half watcher, half angel, half man, these are the guys that like Nimrod or Arba, and these are the most renowned guys who then they give birth to a various tribes of giants. In the case of Arba, was all the way down. So I think this probably happened shortly after the flood, because Cain, his father, was wicked, and then Noah curses his grandson, his father's son, Canaan, and it's the same all over again. You got Seth, and then you got Cain. And he goes off and he does his thing. And so it seems like the watchers saw that, whichever ones were left were able to survive the flood, because the flood only wipes out that one which has breath in its lungs. So the watchers don't fall into it. So I think the watchers that actually committed to the gods and were walking the dungeons, it doesn't say that all the fallen angels actually committed that act. And so another batch of angels not falling from heaven, already fallen, but now committing this act of not been locked into the dungeons, taking the daughters of men, and now being susceptible to that. Well, not Cain's daughters, they've been wiped out. Cain's daughters, post-flood, there's maybe a Nimrod figure, that's a first generation, half angel, or an Arba figure, and they come down off of their lines, at least in the case of Arba, that's where you line a king, and then way down, all the way to David.
Daddy's not too happy about being a widow. Be careful, Agent. Crazy things people do. Monstrous things.
Rogue striker drone detected.
Goliath, multiple generations down.
Hostile striker drone detected.
Back up now from not the days of David, but up back to like the days of Abraham or Moses or Joshua. These could, when the Bible says they look like cedar trees, maybe it's not the generation. Our sponsors, Private Family Banking Partners, is on a mission to help Christians.
Whichever interpretation you take, to Og's size, which presumably is the size of his bed, which is 14 feet long and 6 feet wide, and it's all for him. And one of the reasons that I think that that's actually a good measure for Og's actual size is another interpretation for bed, or another translation for bed, could be sarcophagus or coffin. Yeah. So very well could be talking about the coffin that Og is laid in, and you wouldn't need to make a coffin anywhere than the person that's being laid in it. Apart from that, people say that
Immediate medical assistance
is
needed.
actually an allusion to a Babylonian sex magic ritual. I don't know that it plays a role, because it says that Og was the last remnant of the Rephaim that was east of the Jordan River. So we know that he had to be huge. So we can reliably then say, okay, well then the bit about his bed being 14 feet long and 6
Agent
feet
down.
wide is probably giving us a good indication of actually how big it is. So in the generations between Og, who is the last of the Rephaim east of the Jordan, all the way down to Goliath, we have a clear reduction in size from something like 25 feet down to 10 feet. That's a pretty big reduction in size.
And where do we get the 25? I see the Goliath 14
feet, not 14 inches. My fault. So
Yeah, okay, gotcha. But yeah,
An agent needs assistance.
And his bed, if it's not a coffin, if it is an actual bed, it's also significant that just it's not crying. Because that's the other thing that we don't think of. Is that if you've got a 12-foot dude, and if a 6-foot guy is 200 pounds, the 12-foot guy's not going to be 400 pounds. That's not the way that works. It's going to be exponentially, because otherwise he'd just be a beanpole and a gust of wind would knock him over. But if everything proportionally is bigger than a guy, if a 6-foot guy is 200 pounds and a 12-foot guy is the same proportions, I don't even know the math on that, but what, 800 or 1,000 or 1,200 pounds?
Silverback gorillas and how strong and powerful, and they're not even super tall relative to people.
Right.
But there's also some proportional things we don't know. people and look at the weapons.
There's back up.
Rogue sniper turret detected.
You know, this 50-pound spear.
Hostile sniper turret
I
detected.
also think it's important to note that, you know, the
Rogue striker drone detected.
This is straight out of numbers.
Hostile striker drone detected.
There we saw the Nephilim. And we think to ourselves like grasshoppers. We saw the Nephilim. So post-flood, you have to say, they were there. They were there. How did they get there? You have to account for this. And the giant angle as well. I was going to note as well, I think if someone's interested, someone who I think gets the chronological snobbery thing and gets the reality of how these myths actually support the biblical text from pagan cultures. If you read just any Wilson's African American series, it's a fictional series, but in it, he basically sets all of these characters who are transformers, things like become immortal, they can't die. And he brings in all these characters from ancient mythology into the modern story. And it's really fascinating the way that he does it. And, you know, like Gilgamesh is there, and there's all these, you know, tribes.
A lot of people think that Gilgamesh was
And what I love about the series is he says, like, if you were to bind one of these transformed giant type creatures in a block of stone, that within a decade people would be worshiping there. It would be an altar. Within a century, there would be a temple built around it. And, the draw of these demonic cults that build up around these things, they're not just people who are big. There is always a clear overtone of blood sacrifice, human eating, horrible demonic worship and practices.
Great work,
The
Agent.
law of Canaan
You've secured the
was
site.
built,
We're clear
you
for the
go
medical
and you
team to
see
land, recover any
things that
survivors,
are
and bring them
happening
back to
in the land.
Haven.
When God sent them in to wipe the inhabitants out, they are all associated in ancient mythology and folklore with giants.
And this actually opens the door to two different avenues that you can go down. The first, going back to Og's bed being made of iron, gets into the problem of people of that long ago having the know-how and the skill to actually wrought a bed of iron. This is very difficult even today. To do something that big out of just pure cast iron is very, very difficult. And so it does make you think, like, well, was there certain skills that were passed down? And if we go back to the Enochian tradition, we remember that the Watchers gave certain skills. It was almost like they were brands for the people, where one of them taught them weaponry. The other one was cosmetology, and then cosmology. And then you also take all that, and then what Brian just said, where it inevitably goes back to worship wherever you see it. And you look again at that thing that we briefly mentioned earlier, the Gilgal Rephaim, the Wheel of Giants. And one of the things that's really crucial to understand about that is that the way it's laid out lines up perfectly
An agent is
with
no
the
longer
solstice
in
and
your
equinox
group.
dates in the year. We go and we know most likely, we do know that it was there when Og was king of Bashan, so he would have known about this monument. And any king in the old days was the Pontifex Maximus, essentially, Israel being the exception, where there was a high priest and a king. And so Og was leading worship at this Gilgal Rephaim. That's what people agree on. They say, like, it was here. It's clearly a place of worship, and it may be a tomb for Og, since he was the last of the Rephaim, so they felt like it was a good honor to bestow upon this last remnant. Then we go back to Acts 7, and we remember that in Stephen's sermon, he says that the Israelites in those days took up the star of Rephan, the star of their god Molech. Where would they learn how to do that? From the giants. Where would from the Canaanites, who were full of giants? Where would the giants learn how to do that? From their fathers, who was the demon Molech himself, the fallen angel Molech, or the fallen star Rephan himself. And so it's not a coincidence that all of these concentric circle, spiral type megalithic structures are always supposed to be ancient places of worship. And almost without exception, they line up precisely with special dates on the equinox and the solstices, and then astrological formations in the heavens. And then also, let's take it a step further. If you go on Google Earth and you find this Gilgal Rephaim place, in the Gilead and Golan Heights, and then you zoom out slightly and look just a little bit to the north, there looks to be like a clearly man-made serpent mound that's very akin to the serpent mound in Ohio. And it's all facing towards
Safe
Mount
area
Hermon.
detected.
And so we have all of these pieces coming together, and it's a really loose connection because not many people think about this anymore. But you have giants, you have serpents, you have worship of the host of heaven, the stars, the star Rephan and Molech. And then you also have that kind of archetype of worship spreading from the Middle East, from Mount Hermon, through all the entire world. And so you have places like, what's the thing in England? I can't remember the name. Stonehenge. You have places like Stonehenge. You have the Serpent Mound in Ohio.
What's going on, bro?
You have the rings in
Chilling.
Africa. You have the
It's going, bro.
Nazca
It's
lines
going.
in
It's
America,
getting a lot
in
better.
South America.
Gobekli Tepe.
Gobekli Tepe.
Yeah,
It's-
and the sister sites around the same region.
And then
How you been, bro?
And then you start to ask the question, some of these ancient megalithic structures are really big. And this ties in again with that making Og's bed out of iron. How were they able to move these stones? Near Gobekli Tepe, in Peru, not Gobekli Tepe, near Tiwanakan by Lake Titicaca, there is a
You can start
megalithic
playing. I got
stone
this on
that's
PS4. You can start
100
playing.
tons heavy, and it's lifted up onto 2 pillars. And everyone agrees that they would have had to quarry that stone
'Entering safe
250
area.
miles away.
Yeah.
And it's, by the way, the quarry is at low elevation, close to sea level, and this city is at 12,000 feet
12,000 feet.
above sea level.
Can you imagine getting today with everything that we have?
We couldn't.
A 100-ton stone.
No, that's the thing.
We couldn't do it.
We literally don't have the means to do that. It's not a money issue. It's a technology issue. We can't do that.
We would have to invent custom-made technological innovations to attempt it that
Right.
don't currently exist.
And so the myth is that the gods that built it had a magic trumpet, and when they blew the trumpet, the sound waves were able to carry the stone up.
We're now getting into some of the future Hanacosmos stuff with like sacred geometry and sacred sound.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, we're not saying that all of these things are necessarily real or true. We don't know. But when you start to go down this thread,
You have been promoted
start
to
with
group
ancient
leader.
cultic worship and its practices,
Another
and go
agent is
outward
now
in
in your
architecture
group.
and all these different things, you find a shocking level of overlap that actually interestingly comes back to giant type of lore.
And serpent imagery.
So it's like almost as if when the Old Testament describes ancient demonic cultic worship as serpent-like in the abode of the giants and dragons and things like that it's telling the truth.
Right. It's
And
almost
that this
like
happened.
the Bible is true.
It's almost like it's true. And the world is not just stuff.
So true.
Yep. Okay, so, man, that's fascinating, all that. So what happened to the giants? Because it seems like Joshua kicked a lot of their butts. It seems like Moses was fighting them. Abraham, arguably, I think, was fighting giants, and then Moses was fighting a lot of them, and then Joshua fought a ton of them. So it's the ones during the days of Noah, Abraham, Moses, Joshua, all taking out giants. But then we know that they still didn't completely get taken out. Let me give one verse with this real quick because I think it's helpful. This is, I believe it's actually in Joshua. Joshua 14. I think it's Joshua chapter 11, verse 21 and 22. It says, "And at that time came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel, only..." So not in that land of the children of Israel, only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod there remained. So Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord had said unto Moses, and Joshua gave it for an inheritance unto Israel according to their divisions by their tribes. And so even with Joshua, it seems like he took out a bulk, and that works with that typological preaching, Christological preaching, that, but even then it's not quite done. So it's like Joshua, he's cutting the head off the snake, he's giving them the people their feet on the necks of the kings. You know, and he's doing
Reinforcements incoming.
He's rendering the death blow, but there's still the final, finishing touches of the war that have to be done. It seems like, Joshua takes out, he deals a great blow. But we know that giants continue because we've got Goliath with David, but it seems like now they're tapering off. So my question is, even with David, it seems like he's dotting the I's and crossing the T's that Joshua had already done. Even giants escape him. Are there any stories of giants in other places besides the Middle East? Did giants make it to Norway or Scotland or any of these things? Because it's a lot of what Israel does is they put
story arcs that we have gotten completely wrong in the last 200 years of Christianity is the story arc that wickedness flourishes and the righteous are always driven back.
Hostile detected.
And if you just read Psalm 37, you see this temptation enter the thinking of the psalmist. Where he says, look at the wicked. They're like a great green laurel tree. They're spreading out. And look, the righteous seem to be, perishing. The righteous seem to be suffering. And yet the psalmist does not get into that temptation. And he affirms again, yet, Lord, you're going to cast them down. Their glory will be as nothing. I will look for them and not even be able to find that great spreading green, seemingly powerful wicked person in the world. They will be driven out. So I think two things we need to remember in this kind of storyline. First, we need to remember that evil is cannibalistic. Evil's cannibalistic. Those who hate wisdom love death.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Cultures built around demonic death cults, they are always devouring themselves over time. This is a warning to modern America that all of our false worship is self-devouring, and it will ultimately end in the blood of its worshipers. And the second thing is that we need to inherit the earth. That as the people of God go under obedience, and they obey the Lord and put one foot in front of the other and engage in the spiritual war that they're engaged in, that the Lord delights to drive out our enemies before us. So specifically, I do think that is what happens with the giants. The cultures they build up are absolute death cultures, and they devour themselves. And then I also think that as the righteous go into the land in obedience and don't syncretize like they do later, that you see them driven out and go to other places. I'm sure they have other specific thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, no, I think that there's nothing in the Bible that disallows the possibility of multiple giants, maybe hundreds or legions of giants being alive at the time of Nimrod that also dispersed across the earth when the Tower of Babel was judged by God.
Yeah.
And the reason that I err towards that opinion that did actually happen is because we see other massive pieces of pottery found in places like Wales, in islands like Crete. Even in Russia, there's the legend of a giant warrior who fought against the king and was finally subdued by a woman. Charlemagne, even in Charlemagne's reign, in the Carolingian time, there was a legend that Charlemagne sent his greatest warrior to fight against a giant in some region of France, and the warrior was able to prevail and kill the giant. There was
Harry Potter.
Was
Survival access.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's the Troll. There's the story of also Charlemagne's sons riding a giant horse as a spoil of war that was able to carry forward three of the
Incoming hostiles detected.
and then there's also bones, of course, that have been found. And the Smithsonian quickly stole them away and hid them in their chambers.
Legend says that the Smithsonian has suppressed huge amounts of evidence of ancient giants. And I mean,
Detecting
listen,
additional
I think we can
hostile
all agree
contact.
that institutions, particularly ones that are with the powerful government establishment of the world, would never do that. Right? These would never
And where also, like, bones have been found, so they've named a lot of places, but real quick, talk about North America.
Yeah. The best example in North America, there's a few. One was the giant mummy that was found in California. It was 18 feet tall, and they weren't able to disprove it. Another is the Serpent Mound in Ohio is surrounded by other. They say they're Native American burial grounds, but every time they look into one, they see giant bones. And then most of the time, this is in like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio area. Every time they actually ask the Indians of the region, like the Pawnees, the Shawnees, they always say like, "Oh no, yeah, we found those mounds. Like those are not we we piled some on top of it, but we actually found them as mounds." And so there's been, dozens of
Detected.
cases
From
of
the
people
control
claiming
point
to have
in proximity.
excavated giant bones, even up to 33 feet tall.
And what moderns want to do, what moderns love to do, is to go, those superstitious folklore tradition, those superstitious ancient cultures, like, man, isn't it funny how dumb they are? That they thought the giant, like, that there were giants. Like, wow, they just thought that all up and keep the kids, keep some campfire guys, and they run off into the woods, moral tales, that kind of thing. And those same people will kill a baby and not think that there's anything religious about it. Religions.
Well, they won't even think it's a baby.
They won't even think it's a baby.
Yeah, those people don't know the difference between a man or a woman. It's all religion. We just have competing religions.
Right.
And,
Bobbing
so
says the spark of religion lies in the man. Bobbing even says in his Prolegomena that every soul is inherently Christian until it's corrupted by their own sin, which I think is fascinating. It's a bold statement, but
that is a bold statement. I don't particularly like it, but I do like Bobbing.
I don't like it either, but I read it and I was like, hey, Bobbing said it.
My inner Calvinist just twitched.
Right. That's what. Yeah, exactly. As a Calvinist, I don't exactly like it unless we're using the word Christian loosely, which I am a fan of doing. Right. Unlike my Baptist brothers, if there's only one Christian thing, it's a regenerate individual soul.
No, what he means, I'll provide some context for my brother Herman Bobbing.
Bobbing is right.
Yeah,
now.
you got to defend him, because if that's all you say, then you need to disagree with him.
What he means is that everyone is born religious, and specifically everyone is born with eyes in their head that are capable of looking at the heavens and the earth, seeing the glory of God.
Everyone knows God.
In that sense, he's saying every soul is inherently Christian because everyone knows God. It's just that some of them suppress it in unrighteousness.
Okay, it's Romans 1.
It's Romans 1.
Yeah, it's Romans 1. Yeah.
When he said it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that is good. That's important for people to realize that, it's not, ignorance doesn't stem from rebellion, but rebellion stems from ignorance. And so, rebellion does not stem from ignorance. It's not that people are born intellectually ignorant of the things of God, and therefore they're like, well, I don't know God. He hasn't proven himself. I have to rebel. So rebellion doesn't come from ignorance, but rather people are first morally rebellious, and therefore they actually make themselves progressively more ignorant. That's Romans 1 is... It's both things can be simultaneously true. In Romans 1, you see that that people are born not regenerate, but they are born able to see true things about God, and they progressively see less and less and less, because in their rebellion they gouge out their eyes. They lie and suppress the truth and deeds of unrighteousness. So the idea, if that's what he's saying, then I completely agree that I think a child, absolutely a young child, on average, is going to have an easier time believing basic things that would align with the Christian worldview, the world as God made it, than a guy who's gone through K through 12, in the public school system.
Hey, to bring it full circle on our beloved Reformed soteriology, even the child desperately needs the grace of God to have believing faith. The soul is not born innocent. No human is born innocent. We're born guilty before God. So yeah, I think that they'd have an easier time consenting to the idea that God made the heavens and the earth. And Bobbing would of course agree. You need the grace of God to be saved.
Yep, amen. So where this is the final thing is, okay, so you talked about it, Ben and Brian, giants dispersing, and it could have been dispersing because Joshua scared them off. We know that they went to various places, and that's just one tribe of giants, the Anakim, that they went to Gaza and Gath, and that's where you eventually get to giants, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he killed all. So Joshua can scare giants away, right? Drive them out. David drives them out. But also, like what you said, not just being driven out, but Nimrod, before you even get to Joshua, and before you get to when the whole world had one language before Babel, Nimrod and other giants have gone to various places all over the world. And so it's entirely possible, whether it's escaping Joshua or escaping David or pre-Joshua, pre-David, pre-David, just traveling expeditions, the giants could have been everywhere over the world. So here's the question.
Incoming hostiles
Did we get
detected.
them all?
Agent
Giants live somewhere today. Is that possible? And if so, how have we not found them?
It is possible. It is possible that giants are still out there today. I think it's also possible that, like the birth of Numenor, as it descended through the generations and mingled with lesser men, that it was spent in its power and produced less and less of its potency. You know, you see that I'm obviously citing Tolkien here, but I think it's a good example where the Numenorians intermingled with lesser men, and so their lifespans, instead of Aragorn, who lives almost, 200 years old, 212, you have, men now dwindling in their stature and in their renown. I think some of that could have happened as giants went out, but absolutely, I think that there is a chance. We have some interesting folklore, and modern folklore even of giants.
Yeah, in 2001, 2002, when the U.S. was just beginning its war in Iraq, there was a huge presence in the city of Kandahar. And one of the stories is that there was a patrol team sent out into the mountains surrounding Kandahar to see if they could scout anything, any good positions or something. And they never came back. And they went radio silent for too long. And so they sent a special forces unit to try and find this patrol of men. And the special forces unit spent days hiking through the mountains of Kandahar. And finally, in front of this cave, the mouth of this big cave, they saw a lot of the gear from these patrol officers laying around on the rocks. And as they were kind of coming to terms with what they were seeing, as the story goes, a spear the size of Goliath's, maybe bigger, shot out of the cave and impaled one of the men and went completely through him, completely through his Kevlar vest and everything in one easy stroke, and outstepped this 15-foot tall, red-haired, white-skinned Kandahar giant with 6 fingers and 6 toes. And it took 30 seconds of 15 men with fully automatic weapons firing nonstop to bring him down. 30 seconds. That's a really, hold your breath for 30 seconds. It's a long time. And so they radioed to their local headquarters, and they asked them to send a Chinook. The Chinook came, grabbed this giant, carried him away. The men never saw it again, and they had to sign non-disclosure agreements to agree that they'd never say anything. But that was after they had already told the legend back when they got back to headquarters. And so it became an openly known lie,
Detected.
is what they called it,
Location
among
guarded
the
by
troops that
hostiles.
were in Kandahar at that time, that actually, this unit of special forces officers found a giant and killed it, but they have to pretend like they didn't. But
okay, I'm going to have to stop it right there because we have used up our time here tonight. But we have covered the giant of Kandahar on the show.
An agent needs assistance.
And you can go out and you can find many of that story on many different websites, and it is fascinating. The whole story of giants is
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
I want to say thank you to everybody joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We kind of had a little potpourri of pot, of all kinds of different stuff. Let's see how they like it. Dance coming up next, but I got to get you guys back. So it's time to fire up the TR Green Sheet and get you guys back down to Islander. And so, ladies and gentlemen, make sure seatbelts stop moving forward.
Access key detected.
You don't get your memory lane ass on so early. Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please remain seated until we come to a full and complete stop at the terminal, and at which point you'll be the doors will be opened up, and you will be expected to vacate the TR3G and take all your stuff with you. All right, we don't have room to store your stuff here.
Right.
Anyway, again, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and it's been fun. You guys have been great. Love you all. And we'll see you Friday morning for some street
Gonna see
shooting
the-
Friday Magnum Edition
The
style.
lighting changed too.
And with that, I turn it over to Dicka Dan. Hey, Dan. Good morning.
Good morning, Thumper.
I had my fucking
Hey,
in the wrong
I
part
heard
of
your
the game.
story about the moss and the neighbor. I hope you're able to work things out.
Well, you know, it's
Boy,
almost a
boy.
full moon. Whatever. it's you know, people get weird times, you know, and it's like, yeah, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't know. I sit back, I look at some neighbor situations. I've got a guy, he's a devout Catholic, you know, a nice guy and everything, widower. And his neighbor built a wall 10 inches over the property boundary. And this guy, this nice Catholic man, sued his neighbor, spent about $40,000 in a lawsuit to have force the neighbor to move the wall. I just thought to myself, come on, man. You know,
It's kind
Well,
of funny because that particular house, when I moved in here, there was a fellow that and his family lived there, and he literally had to take medications, and I could tell when he got off those medications because he would do, crazy stuff. Next to his driveway, between his driveway and my driveway, there is an area where there's just a whole bunch of pea gravel. And the sucker got out there in the wintertime with his snowblower and was blowing snow mixed with pea gravel over onto my driveway. And, you know, and that's over a fence, by the way. You know, about a 30-inch high fence. And he blowing it over the fence into my driveway. And I'm like, what in the hell are you? And not only that, my kids were out there at the time.
yeah.
So they're not only getting pummeled with snow with pea gravel mixed in.
All right, so Stoley wants to know. He wasn't here at the beginning of your show. He wants to know what happened.
Oh, well, there's you know, our streets are set up so that you have the curb, and then you have about a 4 foot wide, 5 foot wide grass strip, and then the sidewalk, and then your yard. All right, and these that little strip is also built so that the water drains into it from the street. They have little little areas where the water drains into them off the street. It's kind of like a sump area, right? and every now and then there's a drain in these things. All right. And
Sweep of the site,
there's
protect the
this
equipment,
one little
and
part of
eliminate
that strip
any
is
blacktop
between my
personnel that you
driveway and my
find.
neighbor's driveway. And I have a big tree that's in that area there that the people who have bought
Sweep of the site, protect the equipment, and eliminate any blacktop personnel that you
electrical
find.
ground boxes. All of our electrical system out here is underground. So there's this big electrical box that sits there about 3.5 feet. Big electrical box. And what I've done to try to keep the weeds and everything down there, I put down peat gravel and a ground cover underneath it to keep the weeds down on the ground, suppression coverings, you know. And on their side, they have grass, and his wife likes to grow clover there, and she has a little sign that says, "This is for the weeds." No, and I'm not a fan because I'm trying to keep clean my yard and cultivating but I have also a moss problem in my yard. And, you know, I've been treating it with lime and all kinds of stuff. But there's a product out called Moss Out. And it's made by the Lilly Corporation. And
Got a black
basically
truck transport inbound on your
iron.
location.
It's concentrated iron. You can get it in a liquid form or granular, and you just, you know, if you get the granular, the loss, and it will that's the stuff. And you know, and it works really fast, almost overnight. But what you see what it does, it actually creates a rust cover on the moss, and the moss will crowd out your grass.
Now, are you using the liquid or the granular?
I use the granular, so I put some out there on my little part. Some of it, you know, there was some moss that got over on some of their grass, you know, and they're very, very worried about pesticides, herbicides, and things like that. But this isn't necessarily. It's not a herbicide. It's a mineral. And I get this text from my neighbor, and he's got pictures of the area, you know, and it's got these brown spots on it, and they're accusing me of
Yeah,
putting
bitch, you
out
didn't know
weed
this
feed.
was gonna happen.
I said, it's not weed feed. It's moss out. It's iron.
Yeah.
But die.
It kills
You
moss.
gonna
It
do
only
nothing
kills
but
moss.
die because
You
you're
know,
gonna be in so much
and
shock.
so he texted me back.
You're
We're
in so
going to
much
talk
shock
when I
that
get
this
home.
motherfucker jumped on the turret.
Ah, jeez.
Okay, Dad, I'll be
Getting out of the bunch.
talk out here. I said, I'm not like that. What you talking about? Well, you spread weed feed. That's not weed feed. It's called moss out. She said, yeah, it's going to kill her stuff. We really don't like the clover. To apologize. I says, look, I was out there, I was doing my part of it, and I saw the moss. And, really paying attention to, you know, the actual property line. And, you know, I went a little bit over on your grass. My apologies. It is a natural product. It's a mineral. It's not an herbicide. I know how you feel about that.
You ran
And, you know, I apologize for getting on your lawn.
It's a dog up there.
And all that.
Are we talking like 6 inches, 3 feet? How far over did you go?
A few feet.
Okay.
No. And I'm spreading it by hand, you know. And it's really an issue, you know, that area. They just, you know, it's not, Stoley. No. I mean, they're nice people. They're they have been nice, But
I was trying to play my MLB today, but they had an update.
They like to
This neighbor had a BLM sign? Oh, brother. God bless you.
And so I just said, well, look, it's up to you. You can do that or not, but I have offered my apology, and if you want to be that way, then fine. Get
What's
the
wrong, buddy?
off my property.
The bullet's hot, man.
Wow. Ah, man, somebody comes to you apologizing. You got to accept that.
No, it's up to him. And I okay, yes, I did get on your grass there, on your clover field, but it will not hurt anything. Everything will be
People
fine
still
next
to this
spring
day,
when
man.
everything comes back. Your clovers will be there. They won't be hurt. It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
The Black Tusk are attacking the satellite dishes. Agent, take them out.
You offer
Satellite
an
dish
apology,
B under attack.
and it's up to them.
We in DC right now.
If they don't, then so be it. My word is destroyed. I mean, that's how that kind of sparked my little rant when I started the show tonight. It's like people are getting absolutely bonkers. Look at some of the stuff you see. Some people are really acting out.
Satellite dish A under attack.
Vicious, violent ways. But then you just have the people that are just their minds are just totally. It's like you can't even read it.
I sent him a message. That's what we are. He just said no.
And you kind of wonder how the hell would you reason with that?
Satellite dish C under attack.
You just,
Might be a good word.
yeah, demonic. I agree that demons exist. Somewhere in the videos you played, it talked about civilizations
Satellite dish B under attack.
like cannibal. They kill themselves off, kind of. They destroy themselves.
Well, yeah, I've been saying that from day one. These people will eat their own.
Well, I mean, I used to manage an apartment building. I ran into somebody that knew a former tenant of mine.
Oh,
And I was shocked to learn that they had tried several times to commit suicide. I knew the individual. And the first thing that came to my mind, my goodness, that's demonic. Yeah, this person has struggled. They've had a difficult life.
All he had, man.
Satellite
All he
dish
had.
detected.
Sex they are. And
Shit. Black Tusk is trying to interface with defensive satellites. They're accessing the network from a terminal in the R&D room downstairs. Get down there and stop them.
When people don't have someplace to put their faith and their belief, you're going to find that because something's going to grab a hold of them.
Like I said, I try to. The thing that nobody can't say is that I don't try to check on everybody that's in the clan. But
Demon goes,
at some point, I'm gonna call and be like, "Are you alright? Everything going good?"
And they're left with no anchor. They don't have a place to anchor, themselves.
And look at the fruit of the demon. I look at this story.
I knew he said he wasn't going to be playing the incursion. He
confronts
did say
the
that.
Gerasene demoniac, and Jesus asks, "Who are you?" And he says, "Legion, for we are many."
Yeah.
And then the demoniac begs for mercy.
Nah, we on Xbox, right?
And so Jesus, in his last
Yes,
act
sir,
of
we on
mercy with
Xbox.
this guy, sends the demons into a flock of what is it? Pigs, I think.
Yeah, into a herd of pigs, and then and then the pigs run off and drown in the ocean.
Right. I want to get a PS5.
So that's like just such the craziest story. Like the demon asked for mercy, so Jesus never pigs, and then what does the demon do? Kill all the pigs. It just
even when they both Xbox and PlayStation, but I think the Xbox came out with the PS2 around the same time. I don't have to do with my hands and do some shit, so I'm fucking do controlling it.
I mean, people forget the rumors part of that. You know, meaning there's going to be what? Why would you blow explosion like that out of proportion? What profit? What is to gain from that? And who is to gain from that? Why can't people?
I can't understand people.
And you're powerful enough to drive the rumors.
Oh, sir. Oh, no, sir. Nothing better. The thing I do have is a particular set of
the
skills.
people who own the media. And all aspects of the media, including the entertainment, who are great at telling stories. You have all the props and all the means to do it. You got an actor in your brain. You got an actor.
Reagan was an actor.
Agent down.
Yeah. He was a good one, though.
Mm-hmm. Big time for Bonza. I gotta look that one up and show it to me. Yeah.
But he was also a politician, though.
Yeah, sure.
There's only a few hostiles present, so head on through to the R&D room and wrap this one up.
I still want to think, you know, just because of the fact that he.
That's just like
you know,
that's
he
just
was
like
one of the
GOAT.
few.
I don't know what happened to that man.
He was never skull and bones.
Really?
No, I don't believe so.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. You got Reagan. He wasn't skull and
A
bones.
couple people from
he was an outsider. That's why they
you help
attacked him. That's
I
one.
understand, like, if you
he
come in, it's like, bro,
started
can
as
you
a
just give me
Democrat.
like a few pointers? But
And
then dudes would come in and be like,
Republican.
bro, I need
You know,
help
he
with
says,
bills,
well,
such,
Democrats
such,
left me,
such,
I
such.
didn't
You
believe
like,
them.
bro, I can help you with this stuff, but don't waste my time. Though. Have me out here helping you with shit you ain't gonna play the game. Though. That's what happens.
He was my commander in chief when I was in when I joined. Well, shortly after I joined the Navy, I joined under Carter, and then we got Reagan, and I could see the thing that I saw
It just
when he came
dumb,
in
I
office
guess.
was the absolute difference in
Oh,
the
shit, I'll
respect
help
we got
anybody.
overseas. Because I was overseas when he came into office, and because, you know, that was also during the Iranian hostage crisis. You know. Whatever, but the Iranian hostage crisis.
How much? Out the
Right.
out the
Yes.
shit out that grenade.
And we had been over there,
444 days.
and we had been over there. When I went
Dude,
to
that shit like a
camp and A school when I joined them,
come kill you.
we had Iranians. Not only we had training centers in India, in their own companies, and then when I went to Memphis to aviation A school, we had Iranians coming to the same school we did. And then it was shortly after that the whole Shah thing busted out, and I ended up going to Guam and hostage crisis. And, so that all happened within the first 2 years of my time in the Navy. Change in the military. We finally got paid a little bit better. We had junior we were on food stamps at the commissary to our equipment was improved tremendously over the first 4 years. She just sent me a thing here, but Reagan was photographed at the Bohemian Grove. Well,
Satellites moving back to position, and the building is clear of hostiles. Good work, Agent.
And in some cases, you have to make appearances in places you probably would
I had hooked my 360 up to my streaming platform one day.
I'm not trying to make excuses for him. He could have been.
I was playing NBA Jam.
I pray that he didn't. Let's put it that way. But I just know that
the one game that I do play on, one game I do play on PlayStation
and our military and our
Medal of Honor
respect that we received overseas was remarkable. And
the real last Medal of Honor where they the people in trouble and shit.
He
for making the game real because they use real fighters. They got it.
Didn't have to be redeemed, maybe. I don't know. I would pray that he didn't, because I had a deep amount of respect for the man.
Yeah. I grew up in the 80s, teenage years, and I remember having a poster. I lost it, but it was Reagan, and it said, "Make America Great Again." Mm-hmm. So it wasn't original to Trump, but... it's interesting how the morale of the military always seems to be higher when there's a conservative in the presidency.
Well, you find the conservatives usually are in line with the neocons. Unfortunately, you have to look at that aspect of it. The neocons are usually typically Republican.
Well, look at this Green Torino, boy.
But you also find out that those are probably also.
Oh, my dad lost his shit. He would have saw that.
They play the Republican Party.
Go back.
They are warmongers and have been seen to be warmongers and what have you. There's a difference between
the black setting up shop in the Capitol building. It'll be a pain if they bet in, so don't let them. Good luck.
The lack of respect for the military on the side. The bumbling of military operations by Democrats. Another big issue. And then the Republicans.
I wasn't supposed to, but I did some shit to my car, so
really
he was
bad,
kind of
and we
pissed
got
off.
entangled up in these conflicts and these wars.
No, my pa's done.
Yeah, I mean, it just it took the killing of the assassination of Kennedy.
Oh no, I used to whoop his ass all the time.
LBJ came in.
Oh yeah, every chance I got, I was trying to do it.
And then we got Nixon.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And Nixon.
Once me and my brothers taller than him, so
term in office.
When we were little, he was giving it to us on the court and shit. My dad was real athletic,
standard, which really threw us into the
play football and all that shit.
How inflation has progressed from when Nixon took us off the gold
hoop.
standard.
He could hoop. Where y'all think they'll get it from? It was like, we
we've had
didn't get
nothing
this
but inflation and taxation and all that other stuff.
stay with him like every
Let's see.
summer. Every summer.
Hostiles. Guarding location.
Carter?
Yeah.
Gerald Ford. Oh, Gerald Ford. Yeah,
Fucking aggravated. You want to fight?
And then after Reagan, we got Bush Sr. because he was Reagan's VP. And the only reason for that was they needed to get
That is issue.
into the White House so that he could do his little 1,000 speech and light this whole cabal thing. You know, he basically stood at the altar.
I do have
Campbell's on
some
that.
of his qualities of meeting people, knowing like no whole with
And
it was like
and
one
then
thing.
he turned it
You ever
over to
roll with your dad and you're like, damn, I didn't know you knew nobody else.
Incoming hostiles detected.
My kids be like, damn, Dad knows everybody.
You know, he gave it up. And I sat there and watched it. I was pissed. I said, you flat out. I told many people, he gave it up to Clinton. And there was a whole reason why he was in there because they had to move Hillary into a position. It's all been a game. It's all been, moving the pieces around. And then, and then who follows Clinton? Baby Bush. You know?
Access key detected.
And then we get Obama. And you got, I mean, 2 times? Really?
The American people are very stupid.
At that point, they had us by the conies. And it's no matter what we could do because they had their cheating apparatus and fully in place by then. After the George Bush and Al Gore debacle, hanging chads and all that crap. And then getting the Supreme Court to, put Bush in there. I mean, you just watched all of it, and it's just like, what a ridiculous show. Mm-hmm. You look back at it, and how could we have? Because I was a George Bush fan, Junior. Yeah, I was always with him all the way.
Yeah, me too. I can't think of a time in my life that there are a few times in my life where I'm proud.
He's letting the top back on the car.
When
waiting until he got all the way down the street and turned the corner.
September 11th, and kind of rallied the country.
If you'd have heard, you would have lost your shit.
Brought us
to deal with your
together.
little emotional ass.
That was a patriotic time in my life. I mean, I remember all the flags on cars.
Well, all my love.
I remember picking up all the damn flags on the side of the highway because they'd fall off the cars. But I like Bush. He was helping us defeat terrorism. Then I was in my 20s, and
Well, we've been misled. And I personally, I think that,
Gift of
in some respects,
One thing you want to know,
the election of
all this good music I've been
Obama.
playing for y'all daily.
and then to top it off, the re-election of Obama. At that point, I went, somebody out there is letting this thing get so absolutely stupidly insane that the American people got to at some point. Who's going to wake up to this? Who's going to wake up to the fact that we are being led by the nose over the cliff?
Yep.
Black Tusk have taken the capital.
Yep.
Our best guess is that they're preparing for a new offensive against friendly positions on each side of the city. We need to hit them
From you, Thumper, we've been masterfully misled. You're not the first person I've heard that, and I love to figure out how to fix
fixers, you know, but sometimes believe in jack squat.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sort it out for yourself, and you're going to have to make the decision yourself where you are, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
I could beat you with the Bible. I could sit down and you know, read Bible verses to you all day long. It's not going to do any good until you decide that it's what, you know, where you're at, who you are, and what are your values.
Yeah.
And then stand on what you know who you are. Once you know once you know who you are, then it's kind of easy to, you know, sort out your position.
Detected. Location guarded by heavily armed
like
hostiles.
God knows your heart. That's the thing that's been on my mind is where is my heart? You know, when you were killing that Moss, your heart was not in a malicious place. You were trying to improve the place. And, you know, God knows your heart in that situation. Your neighbor doesn't. And, I don't know. But, and Daniel, the word Daniel means God is my judge. And that has carried me through a lot of hard times in my life where others have judged me. But I sit back and I say, okay, well, it doesn't matter what they think of me. What ultimately matters is what God thinks of me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, where's your heart? That's the self-analysis that I've been doing. You know, if you're angry, you can't get into heaven. So you got to work on that. It's truly a personal journey. It's like the whole freedom of liberty thing. I mean, where do you want to go? What are you going to do? It's up to you.
Incoming hostiles detected.
Same thing with that fear and trembling, working out your salvation. Hey, we have a new speaker in the house. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. That's pretty fascinating.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Dawn just texted me this. Dawn sent you. And I just put it in the Zoom chat there for you.
An agent needs
She's
assistance.
saying, can you and Dan go over this? Well, I would love to go over it, but, you know, it is 2:35 in the morning here, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
But
yeah, where'd you post it? I don't see it.
It should just have popped up.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a Twitter post, and the corporate conundrum. There's a difference between a company and a corporation, you know, and it's comes from gov.uk, and the State of Israel, company number OEO 27515. You know, and it's
Access
all
key
about
detected.
this whole deal of, you know, the capital letters, all capital letters, STATE of Israel, like in the, you know, all cap letters, United States of America Corporation, you know, as opposed to the you know, the real what is Israel, instead of the corporate entity that has named itself that. So if you pull that open, you'll see there in your in the Twitter there that
which mission gives you the blueprint for the
sure.
next.
you want to go over that?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
you know, head off to bed here and just you know, I may have to go kill some moss tomorrow.
Well, now you got to go after the grubs, right?
Yeah, really. Anyway, you have a great show, my man.
Will do. Thanks, sir.
Good night, everybody. God bless y'all, and we'll see you on Friday.
Outstanding. All right. Thank you, Trumper.
I believe it's Grant Washington.
Don, for giving us this. What are you doing up so early? That's what I want to know. Hell, it's 5:37 in Baltimore. Shouldn't you be in bed sleeping? How those new sliding doors coming along there, Don? Or is it a French door? I can't remember. I know you're getting new doors. Okay, so Don Finchy has given us this assignment. Thanks, Don. Ariel at Prolotario1 on
Giants look like they're ready to spike this.
People, please stop sending me this. I'm we the people, and I didn't send you a thing. So what are you telling me to stop sending this stuff? There's a difference between a company and a corporation. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's go here. Definition. Company. Really, what I should be looking at is my 1828 Webster's dictionary. That's what I think. I might grab that off the shelf. Oh, I got it on the table over here. Just a minute. You know how these definitions change over time, folks. You need to get your hands on an old dictionary. Because you want to get the actual, this internet that I'm going to read here today could be different this afternoon. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at, see when I go to the book, I got to take my glasses off, and then I'm looking at the screen and I put my glasses on. Wow, it's an extensive definition here in the Webster's dictionary. We'll start with the internet. All right, so the internet says,
What?
maybe I can open up another notepad file, because the notepads are useful.
Let's make so.
New window. There we go. And so then what we'll do, we'll just copy and paste. I like that. Copy and paste is a wonderful thing. So the internet definition of company is a group of persons, one's companions or associates, a guest or guests. Having company over for dinner tonight, Don. What's on the menu? Huh? What are you cooking for dinner there, Don? Now that is coming from the American Heritage Online Dictionary of the English Language. Right? Company. Now, if we get into the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, we're going to get a little more detail.
Say it to my face.
So now, what do we do? I got to take my glasses off and I'm going to read to you guys, okay? So,
Left, folks.
all right, so company,
That's right.
companion.
What the fuck is over there?
Companion. The same right there, huh? A companion is one who keeps company with another. One with whom a person frequently associates and converses. So PSB is kind of like a company, I guess. You keep company with one
Just trying to
another.
hit his spirit.
The word does not necessarily imply friendship, but a companion is often or generally a
Leave you on me,
friend.
soldier.
Okay, so that's companion, one who accompanies another. Now, company, what do we say here? Compañía, Spanish,
Been working on getting
compañía,
headshots on the room.
Portuguese, compañía, French, compagnie. So they all sound similar, look similar. Not from common panis, bread, a mess or a number of men eating together as is commonly supposed, but from common panis, cloth, Teutonic, von or von, a flag. Yeah. The word denotes a band or number of men and women, Don, under one flag or standard. What decides this question is the Spanish mode of writing word with an N tilde, titled Enya, Campania. For this is the manner of writing paño, cloth. So company has a root word panis, which is cloth. So we are members of the same cloth. is confirmatory in this opinion. So cloth, the flag is our cloth. So we are one company under the American flag. In military affairs, the soldiers united under the command of a captain, a subdivision of a regiment consisting usually of a number from 60 to 100 men, but the number is indefinite. So you can have a company of soldiers underneath a captain as part of a regiment. Another definition, any assemblage of persons. So merely us assembling here together at Patriot Soapbox is a company.
Rogue agent
A
detected.
collection of men or other animals in a very indefinite sense. It may be applied to a small number or
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Look at this.
a company of priests,
Bro.
a company of
They
prophets,
just hit me with like
and
20
an
things in a row.
innumerable company of angels.
Hostile shock trap
Also a
detected.
company of horses.
Rogue Restorer
Another
Hive
definition,
detected.
I'm not down, but it's just
Hostile Restorer Hive detected.
Or festivity. A party
Rogue
elected
Mender
by
Seeker Mine
invitation
detected.
or otherwise. Persons
Hostile
that
Mender
associate
Seeker Mine
with others
detected.
for conversation or pleasure. Society.
Rogue Artillery Turret
As
detected.
let your children keep good company.
Hostile Artillery Turret
Another
detected.
definition, the state of being a
Rogue Bombardier
companion.
Drone detected.
The act of accompanying fellowship
Hostile
society.
bombardier drone
Certainly, this is a fellowship here on the Patriot Soapbox.
Rogue Blinder Firefly detected.
A number of persons
a rough one, my
Hostile
dude.
Blinder Firefly detected.
concern,
Rogue Fixer Drone
company of
detected.
merchants or mechanics,
Hostile Fixer Drone
company of
detected.
players. The word is applicable to private partnerships or to incorporated bodies of men. Hence, it may signify a firm, house, or partnership, or a corporation as the East India Company, a banking or insurance company. Another definition, the crew of a ship, including is also a fleet. To bear company
Immediate
to
medical
a
assistance
company,
needed.
to go with, denoting a temporary association. His faithful dog shall bear him company. Well, so it sounds like a company can be a corporation, but is not necessarily. Now, I'm not going to write out all what I just read here because, but anyway, Panos equals cloth. Okay? So, that's Greek. The company is a common cloth that holds the people together. So, in the case of,
Hostile Mender Seeker Mine detected.
Alright, so then we'll look up corporation. C-O-R-P-O-R-A-T-I-O. So now corporation is going to be definite definition.
Rogue agent eliminated. Supply room access unlocked.
Isn't that funny? I said definition corporation. I don't get the definition as I choose to get it from American Heritage.
Sober? Thank God.
Cambridge. All right, so we're going with Cambridge here. All right. Now, corporation is a large company or group of companies that is controlled together as a single organization. Well, now, I kind of, I don't know that I like that definition because you can have a small corporation, a large company. So remember, a cloth is what holds the company together. So it could be the flag, or it could be a product, I guess, or a group of products, snacks, you know, Frito-Lay. They sell chips and pretzels and pop, right? All right, so let's go to the American Heritage definition of corporation, just so we can get an understanding. It sounds like company is kind of loose, you know, indefinite kind of thing. A corporation.
First thing.
See, I'm spending time here on the definitions because it helps us better understand what we're reading. So if we can understand the definitions of the terms that we're using, then we can speak a common language. All right, so from the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, corporation,
that shit switch over.
A body politic or corporate,
you gonna run it when you get off already.
Authorized by law. Okay, so there's a distinction. Company is kind of loosey-goosey, common cloth, and corporation is a body
you know what,
created by law.
The Hot Shot bill holds bonus armor the longest.
Created by
if
body.
You look right now, I still
by
have bonus
law
armor. We ain't been fighting for like 3-4
single
minutes.
person. Which I hate that. I hate the fact that a corporation can be a person because it's just illogic.
For a long ass time.
A society having the capacity of transacting business as an individual. Corporations are aggregate or sole. Corporations aggregate consist of 2 or more persons united in a society which is preserved by a succession of members, either forever or until the corporation is dissolved by the power that formed it, by the death of all of its members, by the surrender of its charter or franchises, or by forfeiture. So it sounds like you can forfeit a corporation. But they didn't say that about a company, because a company is a loose organization of folks with a common cloth. Such corporations are the mayor and aldermen of cities,
Friendly control point detected.
the head and fellows of a college, the dean and chapter of a cathedral church, the stockholders of a bank or insurance company. A corporation sole consists of one person only and his successors as a king or a bishop. And that comes to us from Blackstone. All right. So, corporation is formed by law. A company is more of a loose association. We share the same cloth. All right, so now let's read over here. Coming back, Ultimate Mail just followed. I'd like to welcome Ultimate Mail to the Patriot Soapbox company, if you will. Hey, Don, caught me staying up late. Good morning, says Tim Mall. You can't sleep either, Automatic. Too upset to sleep, I think. Oh, shucks, Automatic, what's got you up in a tither? It's not that shooting in Maine, is it? Or is it the new house speaker that's keeping you up? Well, I don't know. I got my wire cut in my chair. Give me a minute here.
People behind us.
You know, I got one of these chairs that rolls around, and I've got a headphone cable.
The Black Tusk transport just dropped off an officer in the plaza behind the building. From here, they look like they're in charge of the office.
Then that's your objective, agents. Clear the site, eliminate any hostiles, and most importantly, take down that Black Tusk officer.
Back to this article now.
He actually dropped some
There
decent
is
shit
a
this time.
difference
'Cause usually
between
that
a
shit be
company and a corporation.
level one.
And I think by virtue of the exercise of seeking out the definitions, you and I understand that a company is a group of people under the same cloth, flag, if you will. And a corporation is a legal entity kind of designed to act as a person. Well,
Might work out.
Israel registered themselves as a public entity in 1947. You cannot register a corporation twice under the same name in 2023 after 70 years and is being accepted. Okay, I mean, right? If I want to register a corporation, well, okay, I guess it's the registration. So if you want to play that game, who are they registered? I don't know that I understand this. You cannot register a corporation twice under the same name. Okay, well, right off the bat, I think this guy's full of crap. All right. No, I disagree. Okay, right off the bat, Israel is and the guy can't even spell right because he calls it a cooperation, that's a different entity, a co-op. So we get together and we cooperate in a given mission. So, Don, my brief analysis, off the cuff, shooting from the back seat of my chair, this guy's full of crap. Once a corporation is formed, it is a legal entity that exists separately from its owners. This means that it has its own name, tax ID number, and legal rights and obligations as a corporate structure. Israel is bankrupt. So is the United States. When you are in that status, you have zero contract rights. Okay, so they don't have contract rights, but they got bombs that they can drop on Gaza. They have soldiers that they can send in and neutralize. So, this guy, I don't know. All right, whatever. Once it expires, you cannot re-register that corporation. Okay, this is guy's authority. So ask yourself, Mike Johnson is preparing a bill for Israel, which one would that be? Because as it stands today, it will not be as it is now after October 31st. Hal, remember those executive orders? If you were involved in human trafficking, that means your assets were frozen. You thought this was only meant for business and companies? No, governments too. What do you think, Israel? Why do you think Israel Parliament was dissolved? I'm in the dark on this one. I'm kind of, whatever. So I think this guy's full of crap. Find out this company information. Sunshine, the State of Israel. Company number, okay. Yeah, there's nothing. Don, this guy's full of crap. Don't waste your time. Didn't know what he was talking about. That's my take. You notice this fella, he's in the news. Ought to make all those folks from Louisiana proud. Representative Mike Johnson, currently serving his 4th term, representing the 4th Congressional District, Louisiana. Hey, that's down there by Michael DeBerry. He serves, I bet Michael has a little bit of insight into this guy. He serves as the vice chairman of the House Republican Conference, as a leader on the Judiciary and Armed Services Committee, and served as deputy whip for House Republicans. This is his 2nd term as vice chairman and has previously served as chairman of the Republican Study Committee, known as the Intellectual Arsenal, and the largest caucus of conservatives in Congress. Mike is a dedicated husband, father of 4, constitutional law attorney. I like that. Who has devoted his life and career to defending our fundamental freedoms, traditional values in the courts and in the court of public opinion. So there's the congressman with his lovely wife and family.
Go ahead.
Congressman Mike Johnson is a Republican, proudly serving Louisiana's 4th District. Represents 760,000 residents of 16 parishes in the northwest and west regions of the state.
I'm determined.
Mike was first elected to the U.S. House of Representatives December 10, 2016 by the largest margin of victory in his region in more than 50 years, currently serving his 4th term in Congress. So the guy is 8 years in Congress, not a career politician. January 2021, Mike was elected by his colleagues to serve as vice chairman of the House Republican, one of the 7 elected leadership positions for Republicans in the House of Representatives. In November last year, he was unanimously re-elected to serve another term as vice chairman. In this role, Mike helps guide his Republican colleagues to fight policies. That sounds good so far. Mike also serves as a deputy whip for the 118th Congress to help implement the Republican agenda.
Tell you what, neither one of y'all.
He was previously honored to serve as chairman of the Republican Study Committee, the largest caucus of conservatives. Okay, the intellectual arsenal of conservatism in the House. Hey, we're declaring the war, and we're going to dig into the arsenal for all of our weapons. Okay. And it's arsenal of conservatism. With 2 decades of previous experience in constitutional law, Mike serves on the House Judiciary Committee and is the chairman of its subcommittee on the Constitution and Limited
What game is this? This is
Got a lot of
Division 2.
hostiles setting up by the southern end of the building.
Sounding pretty good. He also serves on the Select Committee on the Weaponization
Clancy's a Division 2, bro.
Federal Government. Hey, I like that too.
You ever heard of it before?
The federal government, in fact, is weaponized.
A lot of people say that. They say, man, I don't know what thing it is, bro. That shit look fun.
The folks on January 6th, President Trump.
System
restored. Includes important military installations, Barksdale Air
feel like I'm
Force
responsible
Base,
for bringing a whole influx
Fort
of people
Johnson.
Bro, I'm here because of your
Louisiana National Guard
System reactivated.
An attorney is
Some of us been playing this shit for like 5-6 years. So. Boy, that really, it's really almost 10 years.
Mike spent 20 years successfully litigating high-profile constitutional law cases, widely recognized as a leading defender of the right to life, liberty, free speech, Second Amendment, and free market principles. Law practice he drafted landmark legislation for many states and municipalities, providing governors, state legislatures, city councils, school boards, law enforcement agencies, and POs around the country. He solidified his reputation as an educated, full-spectrum conservative when he served in the Louisiana legislature for 2 years from February 2015. He was elected to the state legislature twice without opposition, was honored to be appointed vice chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Select Committee on Leadership. Limited government, pro-life, pro-family.
Right here.
The eldest son of a Shreveport firefighter who was critically burned and disabled in the line of duty, Mike learned early of the values of hard work, honor, and sacrifice. He has practical understanding of the challenges that small business owners face because he, like his parents and grandparents, is one himself.
This sniper
Mike
rifle's
has also been a college professor, consultant, talk, and columnist, media spokesman for America's largest religious liberty organizations, a constitutional law seminar instructor, and a board member for national organizations, numerous community groups, and ministries. J.D. from the Paul Habert Law Center at Louisiana State University. He was selected as a member of the Moot Court Board, the National Moot Court Team. Was elected class president of the Christian Legal Society.
Conan, all y'all in person, but I was going to that
Omega Honor Society, Kappa Sigma fraternity. Mike and his wife Kelly, a former school teacher, she's now a pastoral counselor, so she's helping folks out. They've been married since 1999 and have 4 children: Hannah, Abigail, Jack, and Will. Today they ride in Bossier Parish. Let's see. Now, on the issues. Well, let's see. Fiscal responsibility, dignity, limited government, peace through strength, individual freedom. The birth of our great nation was inspired by the bold declaration that our individual rights should be preserved against government intrusion. That same condition informs our conservative policies today. In America, we proclaim the self-evident truth that all of us are created equal and granted by God the same inherent freedoms, such as the rights to life, liberty, conscience, free speech, and the ability to pursue happiness, build wealth, and defend ourselves and our families. The purpose of government is to secure these rights. The ideas we advance should always maintain and increase the liberty of the American people. I tell you, that's a nice tune, if you ask me.
He tried it. Yep.
Okay, so let's see what else has he got here. Peace through strength, rule of law. Let's look at that. Ours is a government of laws and not of men. The rule of law is our foundation. To maintain ordered liberty in a civilized society, public and private virtue should be encouraged. Oh, that sounds like, oh my goodness, is that the Magna Carta?
That's all you right there, Buck. I'm going to let you pick that up, brother.
It's been months since I read it, but I remember the...
All right, well, if anybody don't need it, send or grab it if you don't want it. If not, I'm ready. There you go. All right, that's better. I like it.
No habla español.
You got to strive for
Oh, come on, poquito? That's what was going on. That was what was going on with Irate. I figured out what it was. He was asking me, where do we go?
Then it needs to be destroyed.
He didn't know when he had the eye. He wasn't sure where to go.
Constitution and the judicial branch must not be allowed to assume.
So he was asking, like, where? That's what he kept saying.
Executive powers. Transparency and accountability are keys to good government. Congress must faithfully perform its constitutional responsibility of oversight.
Backside.
Yeah. Okay, well, I tell you what, folks. I think
he coming in?
This guy, I think.
Wow.
Let's see here. Because government has refused to live within its means, America is facing an unprecedented debt spending crisis. Federal debt now exceeds $32 trillion. And our fiscal path is unsustainable
we're fine. I'm coming through.
jeopardizing our nation's economic growth, stability.
Puppy smart.
That's what I'm thinking. My grandkids, right? The security of our future generations. Congress has a moral and constitutional.
Gonna get an EMP in about 3 seconds.
Bring spending under control, balance the federal budget, reform and modernize entitlement programs, eliminate fraud, waste, abuse, pursue continued growth, tax reforms, and permanent tax reductions, restore regular order and accountability in the budget and appropriations process. Human dignity, because
Bobby Fern, how you are, man?
God, I like that. Every human life.
Oh wait, that was
inestimable dignity and value. Every person should be measured only by the content of their character. A just
yourself blind
sounds like Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. there, doesn't it? The just government protects life. Honors
oh, that was nice, Cinder. Nice dive, baby. Nice dive.
And embraces the vital cultural influences of religion and morality.
Machine gun Buffy's down.
Policy should always encourage education. Emphasize the virtue of hard work as a pathway out of poverty, while public assistance programs should be reserved.
I'm just having fun. I'm sorry.
In America, everyone who plays by the rules should get a fair shot.
An agent
By
needs
preserving
assistance.
these ideals, we will maintain the goodness of America that has been the secret to our greatness. Yeah, okay. So what do you think?
You gotta start the turtle.
He released a
I'm sorry.
statement yesterday. Let's see.
Oh my God, the worst thing in the road.
It is the honor of a lifetime.
Those damn EMP and jammer grenades that these black vests are on, a lot more armor.
For the unmatched support throughout this process, it has been an
continue the sweep.
I'm sorry, I'm lit.
As complicated and diverse as the people that we represent.
Oh, yeah, I got shit covered on your side. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm laughing about. Like every time I go to shoot somebody, I'm sorry.
Conference is united.
I'm gonna come up that ladder on them boys. The bodies over there on the ground.
I will ensure the House delivers results and inspires change for the
Oh, yo,
Bro,
bro,
look at this. Look. Somebody need to take a screenshot of this.
We will restore trust in this body. We will advance a comprehensive conservative policy agenda.
Bodies everywhere. Every time they came around the corner. And then they was up here trying to climb. They was trying to climb up here, bro. The computer didn't erase it, but bro, right here on the stairs. They was trying to climb up over there where Tony was at. Every time I was laughing because I know he was gonna be like, "Goddamn, bro!" One of them.
So he's gonna send money. To
can't see right now. I got so many tears in my eyes.
Damn it. Okay, well.
Is that a new mask?
Compelled to include that.
Which mask? You talking the one I got on? Oh yeah. This is
more money to Ukraine, more money to Israel.
Purchase only.
Purchase
only.
Damn
Cost you
it.
$6.
Come on, Johnson. You're so good. Up until then.
You can walk around looking like a neon pumpkin.
Okay, the old fart's got to catch his breath. Hang on a second.
Man, I heard you back there, boy.
Well, let's see here.
The motherfucker make you fart while you laughing. You know you laughing hard in the bed.
So we gotta see
Yeah, my man Hawks is litty lit over there.
Winning the speakership is a
Oh, I'm having so much fun. It ain't even funny.
There's always somebody.
Hey, don't take it no type of way because I made Tony's back hurt one day.
Others look at it as
Yeah.
some people are so damn negative.
Pinch my sciatic nerve over there.
Get you right, Tony.
CNN is, of course, going to look at the glass empty with Johnson as the new speaker.
We're in a time of extraordinary crisis right now. And the world needs us to
Our
creed and our admonition.
Alright, you guys handle this. I'm gonna head over to the right. Get ready for it.
Tensions continue to build in the Indo-Pacific.
See the motherfucker fall off the helicopter.
Strong leadership of this body, and we must not wait.
See him fall off the helicopter. He
Our
just like he
nation's
released.
greatest ally in the Middle East is under attack.
Oh,
Take the wheel.
I'm going to bring to this floor in just a little while
will be in support of our dear friend Israel, and we're overdue.
Yeah, it's kind of like dating
Alright, I'm gonna go here. I'll be right back.
Right.
Take
Nine
your ass
things
bed.
out of 10, that 10th thing is like,
Oh, hell no, I'm gonna run
kind
again.
of put up with it, but
He ready for some incursion rods.
so his first goal is going to be to commit money to Israel. You're in my money.
We're going to show not only Israel, but the entire world that the barbarism of Hamas.
I seriously can't see the shoot. I'm sorry. I'm well. They're fucking hard.
Okay, so he's going with
Oh man, it's so nice running with a fun team. You got no idea.
I don't know how I feel about it yet. I think along the lines of George Washington and his farewell address, and he told us to stay out of foreign entanglements. You know, and there was a post in the chat a couple days ago. I forget who it was.
Yeah, there's so much funny going down over there.
Oh, it's the best part of the game.
What does a police officer
Oh
do
shit.
when he comes
Fucking
across
breathe, stupid. Breathe,
And I
stupid,
had a discussion
breathe.
with my 16-year-old about
I
this
swear that's
because
what Kirk asked that
it's
one
an
day.
interesting question.
I couldn't see
What
shit.
is in the context of the world?
Oh my god.
Ukraine and Israel.
Hey, it's a whole video too.
That was the
I'm happy to
context
see
of what we were
it too.
discussing.
We was laughing so
It was
fucking hard.
valuable
Oh my god.
exercise
Oh
in
shit, my
thought
back.
to contemplate that question. You know,
And
in
Panda
hockey,
ass don't make it no
a lot
better.
of times the
Because
referees will
first
let two guys or
one,
three guys
tell me
never
what's
fight
wrong
and just
with
let
your
them
back.
fight. And then they'll
Always late like a
go
roasted.
in and pull them apart once they've worn themselves out and they're not swinging punches.
But it made you laugh so hard and fucked up your sciatic nerve.
And you know, to be safe, a cop should stay out. You know, how many times we hear stories about a cop getting into a domestic situation and then getting shot and killed?
An agent needs assistance.
He gets between a husband and a wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Now I'm reminded of the one incident.
Oh no, it ain't that. It's just the gas. Oh, thank you for the hive.
There was a black girl
Sir.
with a knife,
Now that I'm
and she
pointing
was
at him,
going
this bitch
after
won't stand
another
up.
black girl, and she was going to stab her. The cop drove up on the scene, and in seconds, he shot and killed the woman wielding the knife as a weapon.
How you get way over here?
He saved the other woman's life. So, you know, arguments to be made all around on that situation. When a cop
I don't
ends
know.
up on two people fighting, what does he do? You know, he's going to have to think fast. He's going to have to analyze the situation like the guy did. He sees a girl with a knife.
SOS.
Oh, damn, all y'all did? Oh.
SOS.
Fast and active
This is not a position to be in as a sniper right now.
to do it. He had to take
Crawling closest to you.
Serious trauma
Right
detected.
I might have to go out right here now.
The other girl would have been injured and perhaps killed. I don't know. I don't know that I
Yeah, let me
have an
spectate. Let me see what you're doing.
to go out and defend Israel against Hamas.
Okay, so first rule of next incursion run, you need to tell me, put the bottle away.
I don't know that I have an obligation as an American to go out and defend Ukraine against Russia. Yeah, as a nation.
Oh, at least it gave me a breather.
Stand up for Ukraine. We have an obligation to stand up for Israel. Now, when you read that farewell address,
Yeah, he's a little away.
stay out of foreign
And my banshee pulses ass.
That's what he says. But the world is a complicated place, is it not?
Immediate medical assistance needed.
For the
An agent needed assistance.
Trying to decipher from my colleagues who are
Signal lost.
Stories, but we'll go ahead and hop. I don't mind the
of him manipulating financial statements for Trump. Now, the entire cross-examination, Trump's attorneys have been trying to catch Michael Cohen in a lie. And it appears, again, that there has been some sort of flip-flopping that has angered Donald Trump.
Oh, damn. Oh, in a while since I've seen any of those movies.
So, my colleague, and I'm going to read it word for word again. I'm getting this from inside the courtroom. The 2019 testimony that's being questioned right now of Michael Cohen, he said that he stands by when he said to lawmakers, did Mr. Trump direct you or Mr. Weisselberg to inflate numbers for his personal statement? Not that I recall, no. Now, just yesterday, the direct questioning by the New York Attorney General's office of Michael Cohen was all about fudging those financial statements to the benefit of Donald Trump while he worked for him. So, again, this is what the cross-examination is doing. They're trying to catch him in a lie. It appears it's very possible that he did. And so the president is angry about this and wants the trial to essentially end. That's what his lawyers are arguing for with this judge. So, again, we're still trying to get this information, but it does look like there is some flip-flopping going on that has angered the president, and he has stormed out of the courtroom making that statement. Now, how the judge is ruling on this, we're still trying to figure that out. But Michael Cohen is still on the stand being cross-examined at this moment, and the former president is no longer in that courtroom.
Okay, so now we have opinion from CNN. This is the glass empty, right? Julian Zelizer, CNN political analyst, is a professor of history and public affairs at Princeton University. The author and editor of 25 books, including Myth America, historians take on the biggest lies of all time. Okay. House Republicans finally, after all the disorganization and mess and whatever, they played that up. Well, finally, they picked MAGA wins again, baby. Yeah, make America great. Johnson is no moderate. Yeah, baby. While free of any major known scandal and gentler in demeanor than Ohio's Jim Jordan, the far-right choice of the House rebels who ousted Rep. Kevin McCarthy from the speakership, who failed to win office last week, that's about it. Johnson might be a nice guy.
Appreciate y'all coming to hang out, man.
In a reasonable way.
Y'all could, y'all hit the link in my bio on my About page.
You got them all.
Follow us on all
Capital is
platforms.
secure.
Streaming on Twitch, Kick,
Replacing the
YouTube,
generations of the
Facebook,
upstart Tea Party
what I forget?
and smash mouth
Yeah,
partisan
and
Newt
Twitch.
Gingrich as they push their party even further to the right. Yeah. Look at this.
All right, gentlemen, that'll be it for me.
What do you think of him, huh?
Take my
I
ass
like his
to
glasses.
bed.
But that's, I don't know about that smile.
GG's, y'all.
The nomination speech that New York Representative Elise Stefanik gave for Johnson was pure red meat for the party. And I like my steak rare, folks. She accused the left of wanting to stop paying for police, being weak on defense, and undermining the values of the nation. She accused them? No, she rightfully testified. Elise Stefanik truthfully testified when she
An agent has gone offline.
Of the left, the Democrats, the demon rats wanting to stop paying for police. That is a fact. That is truth. Truth over fact. Right? Isn't that what Biden said? We choose truth over fact. Well, this is truth, folks. You and I both saw Democrat efforts to defund the police.
61 headshots.
We've seen them being weak on defense. Absolutely. Diminishing, depleting our weapon, our arsenal. You see what they did in Afghanistan. Biden
An agent has left your group.
And teaching the kids that they can cut off their wee-wee and be a girl. And the same-sex crap, and the flooding of the southern border, you're absolutely right. The left is undermining the values of this nation. They absolutely are. She's not accusing, she is speaking testimony of truth and fact, Julian. She railed against Biden's radical, failed, far-left demon rat policies, Keystone Pipeline, on energy, and warned that the government has been illegally weaponized. And don't we know that? Don't we know that when the January 6th grandmother's sitting in jail?
That's unlocked,
folks. It absolutely has been weaponized. And you see what they're doing with Trump.
Basin unlocked.
Against we the people, absolutely. And what does Michael DeBerry say? What are the 3 words? We the people. What are you going to do? What are you doing?
I think we're going to leave it there for tonight, folks.
For comparison, Speaker Tip O'Neill in 1984 condemned as the lowest thing he had seen in his career in Congress the attacks on the patriotism of Democrats leveled by Newt Gingrich and his allies. That was child's play compared to
Hopefully y'all folks enjoy y'all morning. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us and rolling these
on almost
umpteen hours we've been playing.
Johnson is hard right. Well, I tell you what, folks, coming from CNN, that tells me that he's the man. He is the correct choice.
Y'all hanging out
for speaker. If they don't like him, then we did well. He has been a staunch opponent of same-sex marriage. What did I just talk about? He had been at the forefront of opposing reproductive rights. You mean
back on later
baby?
On today?
Is that what you're talking about?
Will y'all come hang out with us again?
Killing children?
I don't know what we're gonna be playing. We might do some Call of Duty.
He opposed funding for Ukraine.
Yeah, we might.
Well, I tell you what, that's good. That's good. He seems to be open to funding for Israel, though. I mean, from my standpoint, you're sending money out of the country one way or the other, and it's my money. So it's okay. It's good that you don't want to send it to Ukraine, but what about Israel? Don't they have the means of defending themselves? He wants to deregulate the economy. Well, that's a pretty broad statement. What do you mean by that? He wants to deregulate the economy. Why don't you put some meat on that statement? Why don't you flesh it out for me? Substantiate the claim. And maybe it's a good thing. You know, over-regulation, I know it has been problematic in the real estate industry, right? The developer wants to develop a piece of land and there's a little creek running through the property and puts a kibosh on the whole damn development. Cut taxes, yeah. Hey man, I need more money. You know, I always could use more money. There's plenty of projects around the house that I can take otherwise spend
Cipollone, the White House counsel, and others that don't have quite as strong a taint as Mark Meadows.
Strong a taint? You got a strong a taint. Oh, okay. All right. And back over here, did you hear Adam Schiff talking about Mark Meadows' taint? What's the difference of sending Israel money and your local streamers keeping war going? Porn rebel. Okay, so let's see if we can break this question down. What's the difference of sending Israel money and your local streamers keeping wars going? I don't know what you mean by local streamers. Am I a local streamer on Patriot Soapbox? Are you talking about internet streamers, podcasts, or what? Local streamers. I'm not trying to perpetuate any wars. I am embroiled in battles personally that I didn't choose. They've been foisted upon me. Nobody's sending me money to keep my wars going. I'm fighting my battles on my own. My point of view is we should not send Israel money, period. We should not send Ukraine money, period. We should not send Syria money, period. We should not send Armenia money, period. We have enough issues domestically. And, Botswana can do just fine without American troops. Just fine without American money, really. So I'm not sure. I need more information from you, foreign rebel, because I oppose sending money, period. Okay? For war. Now, for natural disaster, maybe that's a different thing. Okay? But I'm not going to support you take an Arab and a Jew and you put them in a room. What's the difference between the two? And why should I give a gun to the Jew so he can shoot the Arab? Why? They're both made in the image and likeness of God. So why should I support the killing of a woman? I just don't think, especially innocent children and elderly are getting killed, injured, homes destroyed. I don't want to participate in that. So I'm not sure what you mean by local streamers keeping wars going, but I'm saying, no money for war. Let's see if you come up with anything down here. Tiana says U.S. foreign aid. Very few countries we do not send money. Yeah, and don't you have a problem with that? I mean, why? Why do we have to send money? I work hard for my money. Which countries receive the most foreign aid from the U.S.? Thank you, Tiana, for this one. In 2021, the U.S. spent over $50 billion in foreign aid to nearly 200 countries. This is less than 0.01% of the year's total federal budget. Yeah, but we're $33 trillion in debt, So something's gonna break somewhere. Each year, Congress appropriates foreign assistance based on national security, commercial, and humanitarian interests. The aid is then distributed to foreign governments, NGOs. These entities use foreign aid to carry out projects targeting specific goals. Who sets these goals? Who monitors these projects? Such as poverty reduction, humanitarian support, military systems, and educational services. The U.S. has given over $3.75 trillion in foreign aid since World War II. Total nearly $100 billion in 1949. Of course, that was rebuilding after the war. $25 billion Bosnia, 65 million. Romania, 3 million. Oh, we're on par in Romania with the Algeria. Bulgaria, 3 million. Greece, 27 million. Russia, 960 million. Does that include oil and gas, or is that just aid? $760 million to Colombia to fight that. For what? Snow removal in Calgary? I don't know. Anyway, back to Foreign Rebel. Let's see if I can catch. I got your flag star, David, there. And then good morning, Barney. Okay, Mo. Tiana. Thank you for that link, Tiana. Automatic. Did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene? ROFL. She just kills me. Rolling out laughing. I forget what LMAO. I know what that means, but I don't know what ROFL means. She just kills me. Rolling over laughing, I think. Calls her Congress's press secretary. Call her Congress's press secretary. Good morning, friends, says Montana Cindy. Good morning, Montana. Hey, you're up early if you're in Montana. What are you doing up so early? Moanon says, good morning, Montana Cindy. Automatic, need Pam's laugh in background for effect. At Dan, says Stoley, look up taint in the dictionary. All right. Definition. So, I mean, taint, if something's tainted, it's no good, right? To affect or associate with something undesirable or reprehensible. So like you could have a tainted drink, right? To expose to an infectious agent, toxin, or undesirable substance. Yeah, see, he's one of us, so he could be toxic to a guy like Schiff. To subject to decay or putrefaction, contaminate. So Schiff is alleging that Mark Meadows is contaminated. He's toxic. He could be bad for their cause, is my guess. Rottweiler, occasionally in small chunks. Tiana, thanks for the link. Stoley. Carbor on Doom. Let's just send all the aid money worldwide to one random bank account and let them sort it out. You're welcome, says StoleyX. Yeah, send it to my bank account. I'll give you the routing number and the account number. Just put it right in there. Foreign Rebel gives 3 thumbs up. Tiana, it's bedtime for me. Good night, everyone. Have a good day. Good night at 6:42 in the morning. Good night, Tiana. Hey, Monon, too early, but I'm up, says Montana Cindy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Automatic. I'm not going to get sucked in. I'm not going to get sucked in. Sucked into what? Who's sucking? My vacuum sucks. What are you talking about? Nobody's trying to suck you into anything, Automatic, says Tiana. Montana Cindy, Mike Johnson said we're sending money to Israel. Yeah, and that's problematic for me, Montana Cindy. Yeah, I'd rather send that money to Montana, right? I'm sure you guys got some projects up there you'd like to do. How about a pipeline, huh? Please don't talk to me, Tiana. I'm asking you nicely. Uh-oh. Trouble in the Hills. Tiana gives a WND news story. Right, so let's copy that. Copy, and then we'll paste it over here and see what... Okay, so that's some interesting intrigue there from, who was that? Tiana. I think, yeah. Interesting story about Merrick Garland. I don't know if I'll have time to get to it. Michael Legal, you might want to look at that. Stoley gives a link there in the D-Live chat, and it's an article about Garland, Merrick Garland, and his potential conflict of interest. Tiana, because we are Big Brother. Rottweiler, but who prays for Satan? Who in 18 centuries has had the common humanity to pray for the one sinner that needed it the most? Mark Twain said that, huh? Yeah. Is that a lost cause to pray for Satan? I've kind of thought that before. He's already made his decision. Can you pray for Satan? Is it worth time to pray for Satan? I don't know. I don't know, Rottweiler. That's a good question. Love your enemies. Pray for your enemies, I think. Jesus commands so. Who prays for Satan? Stoley, thanks. I will read that when I get up, says Tiana. And Stoley posts another one for Tiana. Same one. Chaos will always defeat order because it's better organized. Yeah, I don't buy that one. Tiana, save the new one above, too, says Stoley. So is this one different? Let's take a look. Whoops, we can't find this page. That one didn't work there, Stoley. I'll shorten it. Broken link, yeah. Rottweiler, if you stand against war and the killing of others by whoever is perpetrating it, you will always be on the right side of history. Well, let's stop and think about that for a minute. If you stand against war, I lost it. Here, where the hell is it? I just had the damn thing and I lost it. If you stand against war and the killing of others by whoever is perpetrating it, you'll always be on the right side of history. Yeah, I mean, and you got killing on both sides, so if you stand against war, you'll always be on the right side of history. Oh, okay. I guess there are righteous wars, though, too, Rottweiler. I mean, one could argue, I guess, World War II was a righteous war. Stopping a tyrant, dictator, I don't know. Bingo, Rot, says Foreign Rebel. That is why it is the UN's motto. Chaos creates cash. Now, just spell it with K's instead of C, and you'll see who started KKK. Oh, yeah?